Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line, Chelsea Handler. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well. Now, what did you teach Angela Yee? I've been hearing some rumors.
Envy, you have this all wrong.
I have it all wrong? Tell me, Yee.
First of all, I just want to put it out there. You know, I love me some Chelsea Handler. But I was very disappointed in the fact that she told me she does not enjoy performing oral sex. And we had a nice conversation about it. And we gave her some tips.
She did. She gave me some. I did your podcast a while ago. We talked about giving a blowjob, and she had some girls that gave me very specific instructions on how to give a better blowjob. So, I think, you could take credit for that. I don't know that I've put those skills to use yet, but I'm going to at some point.
Yeah, and you, because part of it, and I'm sure for guys, you can attest to this, it's never fun to get a blowjob from somebody who looks like they don't want to be there, right?
What's so funny?
And Chelsea was given blowjobs with an attitude. And so I think that was part of the issue. You have to at least pretend to enjoy it.
Yeah, I was doing everything is with a slight attitude with me. So that's the first problem.
Well, Chelsea, I'm glad you learned some new things during the pandemic.
She there?
I said yes.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say something else. Sorry, should I just keep talking?
No, but we're actually talking to you today because you have a new stand-up special and you haven't had one in 6 years. So this is a big deal on HBO Max, Evolution. And a lot of stories on there that I was kind of familiar with, but it's good to hear you get on that stage and really get in depth about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I wanted to bring some joy, some relief to this terrible time that we're all living through. So it was really important for me to film that special during COVID, to try and pull something off during COVID so I could release it during this time. So, and going back to New Jersey, it was a full evolution. It's like me and waking up at the age of 40, going to therapy, discovering self-awareness, discovering your own privilege, discovering a way to look outside of yourself and not just be focused on your own shit, look around, see the world and make a contribution instead of just taking. So, it was really fun to do. And it was really, I wanted to do stand-up that had some meaning behind it, not just tell jokes.
Gotcha.
How did what you've learned over the past couple of years impact your stand-up?
Well, it's not just about me anymore. It's about actually being an ally, showing up, doing the work, not just, posting shit, actually learning and reading all the time. It's like a practice. It's like, okay, how to, and screwing up along the way all the time. And then having to apologize for screwing up. It's like, and setting an example for other people, white women especially, who are my biggest audience, to say to them, hey, this is what I've learned. Come with me and learn about this too. Or this is what I've been through. So I feel like, it's been a nice it's nice to see people evolve, don't you think?
Absolutely. That's what life is about. It's about evolution. If you either evolve or you die.
I seen you had a strong conversation with 50. Did y'all speak in person or over the phone, or was that just online play?
No. We spoke last night. No, the night before last night, he called me. I DM'd him and I said, hey, please give me a call. I don't want to do this publicly. Can we please talk privately? And he called me and I just asked him if he was serious. I was like, were you, we had a little small talk. And then I said, hey, are you serious? I think you're kidding about supporting Trump. I said, but I just want to see if you're serious, and if you are, why, and not telling him as a white woman, because I misspoke earlier in the week when I said I had to remind him he was black. I don't have any business saying anything like that. So I need to apologize to everyone for saying that, because that's inappropriate. But I did want to talk to him as an ex-boyfriend of somebody I've had a relationship with. How could you possibly support this person, this white supremacist who's in office? Whether you're black or white, it should be a problem for you. So I asked him, and he's like, no, I was just screwing around. He's like, I wasn't going to, he's like, the taxes are a pain in the ass. And I was like, yeah, but Republicans have taught us all how to evade taxes. So if that's our goal, we can figure out a state to live in where we don't have to pay our taxes. I said, but a lot of people are listening to you. So that comes with a lot of responsibility. Like, do you support Biden? And he said, absolutely. He absolutely supports Biden. He said I could say it on this show.
Oh, good.
I texted with him this morning saying I was going to be on the show and telling you guys that. So so he's supporting Biden. And then he asked me if I was serious about going for another spin with him.
Yeah, you owe him.
You put it on the table.
Yeah, I put it on the table. And you know what? If I say it, I'll do it.
Really?
Okay, good. Because we're tired of white women not doing what they say they're going to do.
Yes.
I can practice Angela's new skills that she taught. I can practice.
That's right.
I'm glad you apologized too for the thing, because I did feel a way when I heard you say that. I was like, what did she mean? She had to remind him he's black.
Yeah, no, I misspoke.
It's all good. It happens. Trust me, I do it often.
Yeah, that's good. Because you know what, Chelsea, you also talk about that in Evolution, right? The black woman whose ass you grabbed and, you think it's playful, and how she had to let you know that it was inappropriate. I think that's great when you do things and own up to them, and then also let people know about it so that they understand the history and why something like that is completely wrong.
Well, also, we're in a situation where white people are so defensive if you bring up white privilege. It's like, oh, no. Like as soon as you're defensive, you're wrong. Anytime you're that arguing about something, you're if you really believed something and you were okay with it, you wouldn't feel the need to argue. So when you bring up terms like white privilege and people get, so pissed off, then there's a real problem there. So, my job as a public person is A, to say when I fuck up, say I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
B, demonstrate that you can fuck up as you're learning and still, be part of the conversation. Like, that is part of it. We can't bottle ourselves up and not say anything. We should try not to say the wrong thing, but if we do, cop to it and learn from it, and we all have the opportunity for such growth in this moment to be more compassionate and to be more empathetic and to see how deep rooted this system is, and and how long it's been going on for. And it doesn't matter that you weren't here during slavery or dumb shit like that. And I think it matters what the system has given us, and the domino effect, and the years and years and years of oppression, and what comes out of that. And we all have to be a little bit more woke and bang that drum a little louder, because obviously the time is here,
I go to therapy once a week, and one thing that therapy has done for me was, as I can see it's done for you, it's given me more empathy, but also it's taught me how to have more grace with people. I have to give people the same grace I want for myself. So why don't we give each other more grace?
Yeah, exactly. You want to be, I deal with all these trolls and these, people who on Instagram, I had to shut off my comments because they go and follow my followers and my comments, all these Trump supporters, it's like just screaming and yelling. And just by the tone of it, you're like, how can you possibly have a conversation with somebody who's calling you a whore and a cunt and telling you they're going to kill you and that they hope you die? You're like, well, okay, we're not going to reach those people,
right,
obviously. But there are people in between who are timid and who think that if they admit that there is such a thing as white privilege or white supremacy in this country, that they're guilty of something. Mm-hmm. That's immediately what they think. If they say it's true, then they're somehow at fault. And I think the message that I'm trying to get out to other white people is, listen, we're all a product of a culture. It's not our fault that this culture is here and has taught us and ingrained in us these ideas, but it is our responsibility now to deprogram our brains from what we've been taught and dismantle this, and obviously it sounds easy saying that, and I know it's not, but it is, excuse me, my boobies just came out, but it is something that we have to keep talking about very, very loudly to make it comfortable for everybody to move to the next phase.
I also noticed that a lot of industry people, and I know you're from the tri-state area, were cool with Donald Trump. Like you see all these pictures with Diddy and Trump and Snoop with Trump and Fifth with Trump. Were you ever cool with Trump? Did y'all ever have a relationship? And, not that type of relationship, but just
before he was president?
Before he was president?
I mean, did he ever rape me? No.
Oh, my God.
He spoke to me at a bar in Hollywood once. I forget what it was called, one of those restaurants. And he came over to my table and he's like, "Hello, Chelsea Handler. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Donald Trump." This was like, probably 10 or 15 years ago. And I remember looking at my friend going, he's actually not as disgusting as I thought he would be. Like in person, there was an element, a modicum of charm, but not. I mean, that was before he ran for president and then ruined it for all of us.
Has any of your criticism of Trump impacted you outside of social media, like anything in real life?
Right, with your fans and perhaps, you haven't performed you haven't been doing stand-up in 6 years, but yeah, like deals perhaps at places.
Probably, who knows? That I know that like when I perform in clubs, like when I was warming up this special, I did the Stress Factory in New Jersey, and I had to do like 20 shows there in like 10 nights. I just kept running the set, and my fans are mostly white women and gay guys, and a lot of black guys actually. But the girls bring their boyfriends who are like, "Shit, what am I doing here? Well, I have to listen to this woman bang on for an hour." And a lot of them are Trump supporters. So I definitely was like running the set in front of guys who were just like looking at me, like as soon as I say anything. It's not a Trump heavy set, but I do start it out with that. And men who are just like, not giving me anything. They're just like sitting there with their arms folded. We got to hear this woman bang on about the guy we voted for.
Are you nervous about the election?
I am nervous about the election. I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful because I think the amount of people that we're seeing vote, which is already at 60 million people, obviously it is incredible. It's up 221%, I think, from 2016. So by the sheer volume of voters, Democrats are going to win. That's why they don't want the votes counted, because the more people who vote, the more likely the Dems are to win.
Right.
But I don't know what kind of shit they're going to get up to. I don't know what these legislators are going to do in the Supreme Court, and it's really fucking scary. And yeah, I'm scared, but I'm trying not to be, negative.
Yeah, I have PTSD from 2016, and like you said, you already see what they're doing. They're like, we're not counting mail-in ballots after certain dates. Like, I don't trust it. I think they'll do anything to stay in power.
Well, I think the message that we all have to get out there, you guys, is that nobody can call this election until every vote is counted, because that is the definition of democracy.
Correct.
For them to, the president of the United States to say yesterday, like, I don't want all, we need to stop counting the ballots on November 3rd is bullshit. Right. That is the antithesis of democracy. So we have to keep letting people know that we all are all aware that until every vote is counted, you cannot call an election like Fox News or Trump is going to call it as soon as he can if it's in his favor. So hopefully it'll be such an overwhelming defeat that, Ohio can be one of the first states that he loses, and then that'll be an indicator that things aren't going to work out his way.
Word.
Chelsea, are you enjoying life even more now as you're getting older? Because I see, like you said, that you're very confident about your body now, and previously that you weren't. And just having the success that you've had and being able to move the way that you want to move, how do you feel?
I feel I worked a lot on my inner, like in therapy, I've worked a lot on my inner confidence instead of having this outer shell of like fierceness where I thought I was hot shit and arrogant and basically just doing whatever I wanted when I wanted. Now I have a lot more of a groundedness. I just am aware more. I have a lot of more self-awareness. That's the gift of therapy, right? To tell you, hey, you're a bitch, or this is your shortcoming, or you have no empathy. It's good to find out these things about yourself so you can cultivate them and work on them. So now I feel pretty confident that I get to do the jobs I want to do, and I get to inject meaning and, into every piece of work. My book, whether it's my documentary, Hello Privilege, or whether it's this stand-up special, Evolution, everything has a message now. I'm not just telling jokes and I'm not just being a loudmouth. I incorporate meaning into what I'm doing. And to me, to have a higher level of integrity with each product or project is so much more meaningful than spinning 8 things at the same time and doing them all half-assed,
Where do you think a lot of your original insecurities came from before therapy?
I think I wasn't insecure enough until therapy. I think once I got to therapy and then you find out all this stuff about you, you're like, oh shit. You're like, I've been this much of a bitch, and how I've come across for how long, or telling people, everyone I saw, what I thought of them, and calling everybody out on stuff. It was like, who do I think I am? And so that made me insecure to find out about it after the fact. I was like, ooh. So then there's this period of like, you're trying to, you know, keep your old personality, the stuff that makes you, your edge and your, you know, and my not give a fuck attitude, but also implement this new self-awareness I have. You know, sometimes you overcorrect. Right. Like for a while, I just would sit at dinners and not say anything to any of my friends because I was like, just take it in. Don't insert yourself into every conversation. Not everybody needs to hear what you think every second just because it popped into your head. And then you marry those two, you know, you marry your self-awareness with your edge and with your, you know, the stuff that makes you, and then and then your confidence comes back, you know? So there was a period of like 2 or 3 years, especially after the Netflix show, where I wasn't on a TV show, and I was self-conscious because my whole identity was tied to being on a show every night, whether it was on E or on Netflix. It was like, that was my whole identity. So yeah, I experienced a lot of insecurity after that ended. I was like, well, who am I? What am I? Does anybody care about anything I have to say?
Yeah,
Now,
that's when people were shitting on you a lot. They'd be like, Chelsea Handler fell off, her career is over. So was it that rhetoric that got you like in your head?
No. I mean, I don't really pay attention to what people are saying about me. It's more of an inside job. Like, I really care about what I think about me first and foremost, because if I'm worried about what other people are thinking, I'm not going to. No, I mean, my career has never fallen off. You know, I've always had work going on. I'm always working on something. I wanted to slow down purposefully, but it was a definite, you know, it was a definite adjustment from being so visible all the time to not being as visible. Like when I started doing stand-up again, which, you know, I was like, shit, are people going to come and see me when I don't have it to promote on a nightly talk show? Like, am I going to sell tickets? Is that going to be, like, do I still have that fan base? I definitely had all of those feelings for sure.
You know, last time you came up here, we were talking about a drug that you... Ayahuasca. And you actually said, you were telling me and Charlamagne about it. Do you still try it? You still use it? Do you dibble and dabble with it at all, or no? Totally gone.
Not ayahuasca, because you can't really take that yourself, but I take all sorts of drugs.
You said it was mushrooms, you said. You said you were going to bring up some mushrooms. Remember, Charlamagne?
That must have been shrooms.
No, you wasn't here. I don't think you was here.
No, but I want to do ayahuasca with Chelsea, with the shaman and all of that.
Yeah, I'm doing it for New Year's. I'm going on a spiritual retreat.
Oh, really? Where?
Mexico.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to hear about that. Ayahuasca's fucking incredible. It's such an incredible experience. And you have to go in with the right mindset, you know, like that you have a good experience, and you will. I like mushrooms. I mean, I smoke weed a lot. You know, that's kind of my favorite way to ingest weed, although it's not that great for my throat because I end up coughing half the time. But I take a lot of edibles. Right. I like cannabis pills. I'm into cannabis. It's my drug right now.
And we need your throat because we've taught you some things that we need you to have that available for.
I gotta have that throat so I can give 50 his birthday present.
Give 50 a little of that Becky. Listen, have you ever Karen before, Chelsea, before your awakening?
Oh, come on. No.
Never?
No. I don't think so. Somebody asked me that the other day. And I mean, I can't think of a time. No. I mean, I've always been pretty, you know, I'm not like that. I'm not doing that for sure. It was never that. But I mean, my lack of awareness was my problem. You know, I dated a black guy in high school, and we got caught 3 times with weed, and 3 times he got arrested, and 3 times they let me go. At that point in my life, I didn't even think then why that was happening.
Why did you say it was yours?
I don't remember what happened exactly, but even if I had, the cops didn't care. They were looking for a black guy to fuck up.
And he was going to get arrested, and she was going to get...
Yeah, let her go, you know? That's exactly what it was, but I was too young to even take into consideration. So my guilt and my shame is from my lack of self-awareness, not from ever acting like a Karen.
Gotcha.
What's the next documentary for you? Since you've been doing the ones on privilege, you've done the Chelsea Does Drugs, what's next? I know you have something.
Yeah, I think I like the privilege stuff and the white supremacy stuff. I think it's a conversation that not a lot of people are willing to have. And I had so much trouble making the Chelsea Does Racism doc, and not trouble, but resistance from people. And when I smell resistance, it feels like the way to go, right? Mm-hmm. Like, let's go open that can of worms, people. You can't ever cover everything in an hour documentary, but you can have interesting thought-provoking conversations that are going to get people to say and do things that they hadn't thought about before. And that's the point.
I would love to see you, because, I'm big on mental health, especially, black men, dealing with mindfulness and mental health. I would love to see you get 50 to go to therapy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we can do that on SNL.
SNL?
A skit.
A couples therapy session with 50 and me.
I think 50 has a lot to get off his chest.
I agree. 50 would benefit from therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's ever gone. Have you ever talked to him about it?
I don't think so. I don't think he's ever gone. I could be wrong though.
I don't think so.
Because he seems like he needs like a good listener. We had a nice talk the other night. We talked for like 25, 30 minutes, and I could tell that it was nice to have a friend on the phone, and it was so nice to talk to him again. It's been so many years, and he's so sweet. You know him. He's so sweet.
You're the only person that could probably have said something like that to him, and he wouldn't have went in on you. He was like, okay, I'm a...
Oh, really? Well, maybe he's still got a thing for me.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he still does have a crush on me. That would be nice.
In all due respect, it does say a lot about your WAP that he, retracted so fast. It does.
Thank you for bringing up my WAP.
I just got a text for you, Chelsea. Donnell Rawlings just said, tell Chelsea that's my baby and I love her.
Donnell Rawlings is so funny. We were at Chappelle's show in Ohio a few weeks ago.
Did you say he was funny?
Yeah, I did. I mean, funny in a way that is, what I'm talking about. Donnell. He talked about a river belt. He was like, he had been in the river at, Yellow Springs where Dave has this kayak. I guess they go on kayaks and stuff.
Yep.
He was talking about a river belt, and he did like 45 minutes on stage. No one knew what the fuck he was talking about. I was like, what is this belt? Are you hitting someone with this belt? He said, no, it's a river belt. It's a river belt. So now whenever I see him, I call him the river belt rapist. But he doesn't like
Jesus Christ.
Well, that didn't go the way he wanted it to.
People on you guys, so be prepared. Whenever I'm talking to I have my friend's white boyfriend, whenever I'm telling him about his white male privilege, I'm like, you're just a white rapist. White male privilege rapist. He's like, oh shit, here she goes again.
Goodness gracious. Well, all right. Well, go to Donnell Rawlings' Instagram page. Hashtag.
No, don't do that. Don't do that to him. No, that's too far.
Donnell Rawlings is not a rapist.
Okay, good. We got to get that PSA out the way.
Make sure I make up for everything I say while I'm in the same.
Listen, Chelsea. Now he tried to say something nice, and then you called him a rapist.
No, he's not.
Okay,
no.
Good.
I love you. Come over. He actually is coming over on Sunday. I told him to bring his belt.
My goodness. All right, Chelsea. Well, thank you for checking in as usual. We appreciate you. Next time we want to see you in person somehow, some way.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to send you guys some mushrooms, okay?
All right.
Is that legal?
I'm into that.
No, it's not, but I'll get them to you. Don't worry.
All right. Let's go. White privilege. Let's do it.
Chelsea Handler is the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Thank you.